Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ryan. This is my good friend Andrew Lapa, and today we are going to be talking about focus, and we're going to give you some tips on how to boost your focus and increase your attention span, I suppose. So let's get right into it.
So for first strategy is to focus on one task. Now, a lot of people say that multitasking is boosting your productivity because you're getting multiple things done.
I
But it
see.
depends, yeah, it depends what you're actually multitasking with, I guess. For instance, I multitask by listening to podcasts or audiobooks while I do other things, dishes, right? But if you think about that, I don't need like a ton of focus for dishes. It's not like I'm studying or something. So I can focus on the podcast instead. That's a form of multitasking that's not really ruining your focus. But what would be ruining your focus is if, say, I was trying to listen to the podcast while also reading emails from friends. That wouldn't work. One has to happen first, right? I don't exactly know how like the brain works, but pretty sure that you can only focus on one task. It's either going to be reading the emails or listening to the podcast. So don't multitask. And if you are multitasking, make sure that there's only one of the things is the thing that you're going to be focusing on, and the other thing is just more in the background.
That
Yeah.
was tip number one, don't multitask. And
Mm.
tip number two is practice mindfulness. And this is something that I've found to be very helpful, especially since it also increases your attention span, which is something I've struggled with in the past. And practicing mindfulness could be meditating, could be going for walks or runs in the morning when the air is like fresh. It's maybe there's a little bit of dew on the grass while you walk through the park. It's really nice. I'm not gonna lie, but I usually meditate in the afternoons because I'm not tired in the morning because I get up at like 5:45 every morning. So if I do it then, I'll just fall right back asleep. And if I do it
Yeah.
kind of later at night, I'll also fall asleep. So I
Yeah.
usually do it in the afternoons. Maybe sometimes I'll go outside on our little patio furniture and just sit there, the umbrella up. It's sunny. It's perfect. But I've
Mm.
had it really, I've like felt the impact of just sitting with my thoughts and especially now with social media, video games, all this noise going on in your brain, to just sit there, focus on your breath, and just breathe calmly, it just helps your brain kind of process all the information you've been putting in, all your inputs. It helps a lot. I really find it to, I enjoy it too.
I don't know. I don't. Now that you said that, you would fall asleep in the morning if you meditate in the morning. That's what I did wrong. Because like I started trying to meditate like for very short periods of time, but I was doing it in the morning, right when I woke up.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't feel better after because I was just like more tired.
To notice
So
it. Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Well,
if you're starting to meditate, don't do it in the mornings.
it could
But
also be helpful if you do it like right before or right after you're studying or doing work, because it
mm,
kind of gives you that state of focus where if you do it after you study, you probably will be able to think about the stuff you just learned about.
mm, yeah,
Yeah.
one of the ways it's like a different type of meditation, but it's good to just think, right? So I go for a lot of bike rides, and I recently went for a bike ride that lasted like 2 hours. And I see a lot of people like biking or running, and they have headphones, which is fine, especially for running. I mean, I've never run without headphones, honestly. I need the music for that. But biking, I don't do any headphones or anything. And especially when I like go onto these gravel paths, like through farms and stuff, it's just all silent. Like just think about whatever. You don't hear anything, right? You just hear nature. It's really relaxing. And yeah, even the other day, we had friends over, and there was one point, I don't know what we were talking about, but one of them said, like, jokingly, like, or I don't want to spend that much time with my thoughts or whatever. And so, yes, it was a joke, but it just got me thinking, like, I wonder how many people actually like just don't want to think because they think that by thinking they're gonna think of all the bad things that can happen and stuff. The third point is be more present. So this kind of ties in with like the last point, meditation and stuff. If you're gonna focus, right? If you're gonna focus on, let's say you're studying some topic or whatever, then you need to be present to that specific topic. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I'm studying on my computer, and so I'm going to stay on my computer for the whole 2 hours that I want to study. Well, that doesn't mean you're actually studying for those 2 hours because there's so many other things that you could do on your computer. So I think it was uh, John Maxwell who said, or wherever you are or whatever you're doing, be there. Uh, Instead of, you know, trying to focus on something, but your mind's on something else. Yeah, that won't work. That will kind of lead to sort of multitasking, like multitasking with your mind. You know, you're thinking about one thing, but you're seeing a different thing. And so if you're going to actually study something or work on something, you've got to just like commit to that and just block out everything else and just do that one thing.
I'd have to agree with that. Like if you're talking about multitask or talking about being present in the moment, and I'm kind of just like thinking about, I don't know, literally anything else. Like I'm thinking about, oh, what am I going to do today? What do I have? Then I'll kind of start thinking about other things, and it just
Mhm.
leads to going off track. So
Yeah,
you got to really be paying attention, and it's also ties in with attention span too, because if you're short attention span, you won't be able to focus on things for a long time. So
definitely. Okay.
definitely practice mindfulness.
Yeah. Because I imagine, like, just for another example, right? We're doing this call right now.
Mhm.
Both of us have to actually focus on this call right now for however long it's going to be. Because if I start thinking, oh, it smells good, I wonder what's for dinner. I don't know. I mean, I probably wouldn't think that. But if I was, then I would start thinking about that. And you might ask a question or something, and then it would be kind of awkward, right? So, if we're doing this, we
Right.
have to actually focus on this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Point four is give yourself short breaks to clear your mind. And this kind of reminds me of something Iman Gadzhi says when he was in school. He used his lunch breaks to meditate. And he said because it was the perfect time for him to meditate. He said the reason, the emotional reason that he justified it with was because in the mornings when he was getting ready for school, he would find himself too tired to meditate. And in the evenings when he got home, he was kind of doing work stuff, so he had to focus on that. So lunchtime was like the perfect time for him. And kids used to make fun of him for it. But giving yourself short breaks to really just clear your mind and kind of think about everything that you've learned from whatever it was you were doing before that, it could really help, right?
Yeah.
And short breaks are also good because if you don't give yourself breaks, you could get burnt out, right? So there's that to factor in as well.
And a really popular technique for this is the Pomodoro technique, I think. So it's like where you set a timer. There's plenty of these timers. I mean, you can look them up on YouTube and you can just have it playing in the background, music or no music, whatever. But it's basically there's all different times. The popular ones are like 25 minutes work and 5 minutes break, or 50 minutes work and 10 minutes break. I do 75 minutes of work and then 15 minutes break. I just find that that really helps. And
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's really nice to look forward to that break. And
You've kind of earned it, right?
yeah, yeah, and just go walk around, do whatever. But then when you go back, like you just feel that much more refreshed because just sometimes you need a short break. Even if you enjoy what you're doing, just you might not even realize it, but you should take breaks because Again, burnout. You don't want to get burned out. So, all right, the fifth point, a big one that everybody probably saw coming, but is eliminate social media.
Hold on, bro.
Now,
I have a Snapchat. Like, what are
exactly.
you doing on your phone? Delete
Yeah,
social media.
yeah.
It's so
So,
simple, bro. It's an app.
yeah, I feel like this is a hard topic for some people because they just think, oh, it's not that easy. You know, I have so many friends. But if you
Mhm.
really think about it, what are the actual benefits you're getting from social media? I mean, shorter attention span, some friends who aren't really friends, they're just like online friends.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if those are even benefits. I don't think so. So yeah, and if you don't want to delete social media right away, that's great. But a good way
Set
to
set limits on them at least. Like,
yeah, put limits on them. Start with like if you have a iPhone, you can put like app limits, right? Put a limit of like 1 hour or whatever. If you want to do an even bigger detox, if you want to call it that, try like a whole 24 hours, make a challenge for yourself. 24 hours without social media. See how you feel at the end of it. And there's probably two ways you could feel. One way would be like, I'm definitely never doing that again. I need to go back onto social media. Unfortunately for that person, your attention span is just gonna get shorter. But whatever. Second person might be like, yeah, that actually felt pretty good. I want to keep some apps, but other apps, I didn't really need that. Maybe I didn't actually check. Maybe I didn't miss TikTok that much. So even if you don't delete all of the apps, delete a few of them. You can also do 7-day detoxes. Like just try to get away from social media as much as possible to figure out which apps you actually need, which probably is none.
I find recently after we went on a camping trip, I left my phone at the house because I knew I wasn't going to need it. There's no service out there. It's not like I'm going to do anything. But I find after that, I've deleted a lot of apps that weren't beneficial and I wasn't using. Like, just got rid of a bunch of like a Apple apps that were on my phone that I literally have never used. And I
Yeah.
honestly don't think I'm ever going to use them. And if I do need them for some reason, then I'll just re-download them off the App Store, right? Like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just taking up space. You can always re-download Snapchat and text your friends or whatever. But
Yeah.
if you just want to do like a detox, just delete the app, put your phone on airplane mode, and just focus on your work or just
Hmm.
being more calm for a day, even.
Yeah. Like I feel like when we say delete the app, a lot of people are like, oh, but then that's deleting like the whole thing. But no, it's not. Most likely, like if you delete the Instagram app, you still have your account, so it's not deleting everything. So it's not that bad when we say delete your apps, delete the apps. But
Mm.
yeah,
All right. So, point number six is get enough sleep each night. And this is probably going to sound like something super obvious, but if we tell it to you, that doesn't mean you're going to be have a perfect sleep schedule each night. You'll obviously have to. I find that 8 hours of sleep is like the perfect time for me because it's like 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock or like uh 9:30 to 5:30,
yeah.
and it's like it starts getting dark out and like there's like no light coming through my blinds or curtains when I go to sleep around like 9. But
Mm,
if we say that and you, okay, I'll spend another half hour in my bed off my phone, that doesn't mean you'll get another half hour of sleep. That's time in bed, not time spent sleeping. So
yeah.
just acknowledge that and be mindful of your time in bed versus your time spent sleeping. And it takes about a half hour for me to fall asleep, I think. So I stop reading and I just lay on my pillow or lay on my bed and put my head on my pillow around 9. so that I fall asleep around 9:30 and actually get my 8 hours of sleep.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's definitely worth like figuring out, like you said, the actual sleeping time. Like for this month, I set a goal to get an average of 8 hours of sleep. And that doesn't mean 8 hours in bed, right? And so like for everyone, it's completely different. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go to bed at 10 p.m. and I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. and I'll get my awesome 8 hours of sleep. Well, if you take, who knows, 2 hours to fall asleep, then that's only 6 hours of sleep, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, it's really important to figure out what your actual sleeping time is and how long it takes for you to fall asleep.
Mhm.
Yeah. The seventh point is reading, and specifically reading for longer periods of time. Because, oh, and also reading physical books, right? Reading is like, I think one of the best ways you can improve your focus because you're learning about something. You can't be thinking about anything else. Otherwise, you're not going to retain the information that's on the page, right?
Right.
And also, like, you can't really get distracted. There's no notifications on a book, right?
Mhm.
So all you can see is the words. All you can learn about is the words. And the best would be if you can read some of it. It's sort of quiet as well. That way you don't hear too many random things. Because it's really hard to read like when people are talking, right? But yeah, if so, definitely if you want to increase your focus, start by reading however much you're comfortable with reading. Let's say it's 15 minutes, right? And after 15 minutes, maybe you're already kind of getting distracted. You want to stop reading. That's okay. Do it for 15 minutes. The next day, try 16 minutes. Like, even if it's such a small improvement, right? By the end of the week, you're already at 21 minutes, right?
Mhm.
So keep
Right.
increasing the time you're reading. Yeah.
I would recommend Ryan Holiday books because I love his books. His books have shorter chapters, and
Mm.
after I've read a Ryan Holiday book, I find it's good to say read a Robert Greene book because Robert Greene books. I'll take Mastery for example. Mastery, I read, I think right after. Okay, I read half of it, but I think I read it right after Courage is Calling, and I found it helped because big pages, and then his chapters
Yeah.
are like 10 pages long. There's like little sections where he splits the chapter, like little lines or whatever. So there's
Hmm.
those too. But I find reading books like that definitely helps my attention span, and I like reading, so reading kind of comes easily for me. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily retain all the information from every single
No.
book I've read, every single chapter, every single point. But
Yeah.
reading
I mean,
is still a great way to increase your attention span.
yeah. Because, like, you'll still learn something even if you don't retain everything, right? It's a
Right.
win-win. So, yeah. If you made it
Definitely.
this far in the video, that's great. That means your focus is a little bit better than like 95% of people or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but now onto the eighth and most useful point. It's a little bit more of a general point, but it's very important. So that is remove distractions like in your environment.
Hmm.
And so this covers so many things. A few main ones would be noise, notifications. I don't know how you would say this. Any other like visual stimulation that isn't part of your work. So like notifications, yes, turn off the sounds, but also just turn off the notifications because if you're working on your computer, right? You can turn off the sounds, but it'll still have that little like thing that comes out on the corner, right? And so you got to turn those off as well. Yeah, the banners. And then yeah. So that's like removing distractions on your device, but there's also your workspace, so your desk. Remove
Literally
anything.
everything.
Yeah, almost everything. Anything that's like not helping you in that moment, just get rid of it. At least put it below the desk so that you can't see it. You don't want to be reminded of all the mess you have or if you should do this certain thing, right?
As well, your bedroom, right? If you're
Oh
trying
yeah.
to study and there's, I don't know, a chocolate bar wrapper, a random bookmark you got from Honolulu, like earplugs, pens everywhere. Like clean it up, man. Like I have a,
Yeah.
I'll show you. I have a mug. It's a dinosaur mug. The handle is his head, and
Oh
it
yeah.
it has all my pens. Like,
Yeah,
let's clean it up, make it more organized. Clean
definitely.
room is a clean mind. I can't remember who said that, but that is a great quote. Anyway,
Yeah.
you were gonna mention.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention a book that we both read. Yep, Essentialism. So this book, I don't know, it was really good. Ryan, I think you know a little more about it because you read the physical copy, but basically it's just removing all the things that you don't need, right? And there's so many different ways you can do that, but you'll be surprised at how many things you just had for so long and you never use it, right? So yeah.
Yeah, the book is split into four parts: essence, explore, eliminate, and execute. And he talks about the book is titled Essentialism: The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. It's by Greg McCohen. I'll put a link down below if you guys want to go get the book, which I highly, highly recommend you do. It's just so good because I even have a here. I'm gonna turn off this little thing here, immersive view. I'm gonna switch to whoops, not speaker, gallery view rather, so you can kind of
Sure.
see. But right here, up on my right here, if you can see it, you can see that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
this is literally from the book, and it's how the non-essentialist spends their energy on lots of things. And
Mhm.
if you spend your energy on lots of things, you won't get great at one particular thing. You'll be like a jack of all trades that knows a little bit of everything. Versus if you spend your time all on one thing, as the essentialist does, you'll literally be the best person at that thing. And that's kind of a summary of it. I have it up there because I think it's so, I mean, it's kind of vital for me to have up there
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes I get distracted, right? I mean, we all do. So it's
Yeah.
a good thing to have up there. But yeah, definitely go check out that book. And I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. And I think that's it for this video. So if you stuck around, good job. That actually increased your focus because you're able to watch something and not scroll away. Hopefully you didn't scroll away. So yeah, thanks for watching. Go check out Ryan's channel.
Thank you. Go check out Andrew's channel. Leave a link to his channel below, and also like and subscribe for more content like this. We've done 3 collaborations. This is our third one. I
Yeah.
love talking to this guy. He's awesome. And this has been close to a 35-minute video. So
Yeah.
thanks for watching. Really appreciate
Yeah.
it. We hope you continue along this journey.
Mhm. And if you have any like extra tips that you use, let's say you focus for a long time, just like leave them in the comments of whether you're
Absolutely.
watching my channel or Ryan's. Just leave them in the comments for other people to see.